Hi, it's Rob, and welcome to a special video edition of Rob's Thoughts. Today we're going to be taking a look at a very special fountain pen from my collection. My current collection is up to about 20 different pens, ranging from the early 1920s until very recently. But this one here, right here, is my current favorite, and it's also the one that I had to work the hardest to get into my collection. Jumping right in, we're taking a look at the Montblanc Fyodor Dostoevsky Writer's Edition fountain pen. Made in honor of the Russian author, who is one of my personal favorites. If you haven't read Crime and Punishment or any of his other work, definitely make sure to add it to your reading list. They're great stories. He's a great writer. And he just tells some very real stories that you need to really check them out. The pen features Imperial Russian design on both the body and the gold nib, but is otherwise fairly conservative in its design, which is unusual for Montblanc's writer's editions. They're normally very ornate, very flashy, but this one stands out as just being, black with gold accents. It's very unusual. Speaking of the gold accents, it just features a couple of gold bands on the cap and one near the end of the pen. Otherwise, it's just black resin. The only real flashy part of it is a sapphire placed in the tip of the clip on the cap. I said at the beginning that this was the hardest pen to add to my collection, and there's a good reason for that. Writer's editions are only made for particular authors in limited runs in a single year only. For this Dostoevsky, it's number 14,166 out of 17,000, and that year it was 1997. I picked it up in January of 2020, and when I got it, I had spent the previous 3 years searching online fountain pen stores, forums, and other enthusiast sites for a Dostoevsky in good condition. And I had found one or two that were very worn because they were, 20 plus years old. But a few months after I found those one or two, I lucked out and I found this one being sold as new old stock, which means it was brand new, 23 years later, brand new, sitting in a box or on a shelf in a store somewhere for the past 23 years. Which means I got to be the first person that actually got to use it, which was great. Overall, the writing is quite smooth. I've experienced no issues with drying, hard starts, or skipping in the year that I've owned and used this pen. Which those three things can be fairly common, especially with older pens. Ink will dry out, and as the components wear down, some of the components are wearable, and as they wear down, the ink will start to dry more often as it sits unused, which can cause hard starts. Hard starts are when the ink has dried up a bit and it doesn't want to start writing right away for the first couple of letters. Or skipping, which when the ink isn't flowing correctly due to worn down components, and as you're writing, it skips a couple of lines in the letters. All three of those things, very annoying problems. But luckily, I didn't have to deal with any of these. It is frankly an amazing pen for its age and well worth the time, effort, and money I put into adding it to my collection. Thanks for taking a bit of time to learn about my favorite pen, and thanks for joining me today. I hope to see you again soon.